Barrier Fencing Supply is a fencing wholesaler and distributor based out of Supply, North Carolina. Whether you need fencing, fencing products, fencing accessories, or various other construction materials related to your fencing needs, we have the products you are looking for at today's most competitive prices around. Ask us today about bulk pricing packages. Call 910-269-8661. Contact us by email at sales@barrierfencingproducts.com. Barrier Fencing Supply, proud supporter of the Voice of Victory Lane podcast.
Welcome back to another Inside edition of the Voice of Victory Lane podcast with Kip Thompson. Hey, we just heard from one of our sponsors, Barrier Fencing Supply out of Supply, North Carolina. Huge supporters of our show. We're so glad to have them a part of our team. And also tonight's show is being brought to you in part by Atwell Exterior Services out of Greenville, North Carolina. Huge supporters of our show. Great, huge fans of dirt track racing, and we're going to hear from them as we close out tonight's show. Hey, this is the show that I've been excited about for some time. A guy that I've gotten to know really good over the last couple of years, and we're going to welcome him tonight. He's a first-time guest. First-time podcast ever for him. It is a first-time guest on our show here on the Voice of Victory Lane. He's the driver number 48, street stock out of Dillon, South Carolina. It is Michael Butler. Michael, a good evening and welcome to tonight's show.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Hey, man, we've always, for years, before I got into up in the tower being the official voice of Fayetteville Motor Speedway, I've had many times that I've spent evenings with you in Racing for Heroes Victory Lane at Fayetteville Motor Speedway, being on that concrete pad, taking a checker flag home is not like something that's new to you. You've been doing this for a long time. You've been racing, I think, since 2010? Let's talk about how you got started in dirt track racing.
Well, my daddy used to race back in 98, 99 at Lakeview, and he let me try it out back then. I was probably 11 or 12. And he put me in a wannabe race. I ran that. He finally bought me a car. We got it ready. He said, as long as you pass your grade, you can race. I failed my grade. He made me pull the motor out of it, then he sold it. So when I was old enough to get my own job, I bought my first car, weekly payments. It was an old Camaro. My cousin actually owned it before I got it. And that was my first race car.
So let's back up about there just a bit now. When you said your dad let you drive a car at the age of 11 and 12, now, to be sure, it wasn't a street stock. I mean, what did you drive, or was it a street stock?
Yes, sir. It was actually hobby stock at Lakeview. It was a Monte Carlo frame with a Buick Regal front-wheel drive body on it.
Wow. So you're talking way back in the day now. Hobby stock, those are classes that you don't hear of these days anymore. So once you got back when you were in good graces and got on your own and got the first car, so is street stock the only thing that you've ever driven?
It was actually called Bomber back then at Lakeview. It was actually like a stock V8 class. We run DOT tires and stock rims, stock rear end. So just getting my feel of it, and I run a couple races in that when I moved on up to the Charger class, and I ran some of that. I actually won that year in that class, and I kept that Camaro for 2 years. It was black card, and next year it was blue, and then I switched to Nevin Twitty built chassis from up around Rocky Mountain. He built a car for Chris Radford, and I got it from Chris. He had never raced it, and I actually won, I think, 16 with that car at Lakeview.
Oh, Chris Radford, aka Club 69 Race Cars.
Yes, sir.
That's him out of Elm City, North Carolina, man. What a great guy. And, when you start talking about your, I guess, history of your racing, again, like I said early, being in Victory Lane is not a rare occurrence for you. Do you know right now, if I put you on the spot and I were to ask you in your career as of right now, up until 2023, how many wins do you have under your belt?
I think I have like 23. I won 16 or 17 at Lakeview. I won 2 or 3 at Dublin. I won now 3, 4 at Fayetteville. My first year racing, I won 1 at Fayetteville on technical difficulties. The man was light the scales, and we were the only 2 cars on the track, and I was a half a track behind them, but I won.
Hey, beggars can't be choosy. Hey, we'll take whatever we can get, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, so let's talk about, for you to talk about as many times as you've been to Fayetteville, you've got like 4 wins in your racing career. Well, 2 of those have already happened this year in 2023. You know, right from the Nut Up or Shut Up weekend on Friday night, you won the race. And you know, you've really hit the ground running for 2023. And you know, before the new track configuration, I mean, you know, I know that you raced at Fayetteville before then. Let's talk about the change of the Fayetteville Motor Speedway from the old configuration to the new configuration. You as a driver, you being a street stock driver, because I've had late model guys on the show, I've had legend drivers on the show, I've had UMP modifieds on the show, I've had super late model guys on our show. So you're kind of making history tonight. You're doing your first podcast, but you're my first street stock guy. So what do you think about you personally? And either way, there's no right or wrong answer here. Which configuration do you like the best?
Oh, I like the one now. David keeps the track in good shape. They continue working on it, making it better. And we can, some nights we can almost run it full throttle, as long as it's just right. But my car handles good out there. I got a brand new Wizard race car just been built this year from ground up, and it's been clicking pretty good.
Well, I have to say, now I loved it the last race that we had at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway when we had the Mideast Triple Crown deal, and we had I think it was 18 street stocks. And I'm just telling you, man, that was an awesome show. But even when we've got our local guys, you know, you and Mike Manus have always put on one heck of a show. Back in the day when Rick Razalard was running there too. I mean, that is some of the most hard-nosed racing of the night when it comes to you street stock guys. And man, I commend you guys because, man, you guys just put on a great show every single time you hit the racetrack.
Yes, sir. Me and Mike's had our bad blood, but we put all that to the side, and we just want to put on some great racing and continue this good year. I hope I can win a bunch more.
Well, you know, I knew that, and I didn't want to stir the pot there a little bit. But you know, I knew. I stood there on that pad. I've seen bumping and grinding a little bit after a caution. I've seen bumping and grinding a little bit after the checker flag had flown. But you know what, man? That's what makes it good. That's what the fans want to see. But I will tell you that, you know, in my deal where I've been around the racetrack and you know, when I've had an opportunity to spend time and get to know drivers like I have you and Mike Manus, I mean, forget the stuff on the racetrack. Offside the racetrack, man, you two guys are great guys. And I love to hear you say, hey, man, we put that kind of thing behind us. Hey, we just want to go out there and race. And that's what the fans want to see.
He actually does all our transmission work now. He's pretty good.
Yeah, Mike Manus, I'm telling you, I've enjoyed getting to know him over the last couple of years, and you as well. And man, we're just super excited to have you on the show tonight. And so let's talk about those 2 wins, man, that you've got at Fayetteville Motor Speedway already for 2023. And then we're going to talk about what's coming up for the remaining part of 2023. And I don't say that in like a deal to like, hey, the season's almost, man, we're just getting started, man. We got a whole lot of racing left to go, and I know that 2023 is going to be a season of high hopes for Butler Racing Mafia, the 48 crew. What you guys want to accomplish for 2023?
Yes, sir. That first win, I went down and practiced on. David had a test day for us with a Triple X shop game, and car was a little off, but it was decent. First night I went out, I was just going to limp it because I had trouble with the steering, and we went in the pits and started working on it, pulled the front end off of it. We got it better, went out for the race, and it was on the rail.
Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity to also speak on that. When you talk about Team Triple X Race Services, now, Dave Mitchell, no doubt, is our promoter at Fayetteville Motor Speedway. Away from there, on any given weekend, you may catch him in a street stock car yourself. I mean, he's a racer, but let's talk about, honestly, from where you were to where you are now, what his shock program has done for your racing team And if you want to give him a big, huge shout out, man, the floor is yours. You can go ahead and do it now, because I know a lot of people who have done different deals. They've tried different shock packages. And, Dave Mitchell, like I say, man, he's a racer. He knows what you as a driver want to feel, what you need to put yourself up front. So let's talk about the change that you think that Triple X Racing Services has done for you.
Yes, sir. He's actually got all 4 of my shocks off the car right now. All I got to do is send him a message, and bring it to me. I'll take care of it. He hooks me up, me, my nephew, my cousin, some other friends. We all run his shocks because he's the best around.
Yeah, that deal he's got with those built-in shocks. I mean, it kind of really, honestly, let's just break it down. It takes your racing program and your team to another level, wouldn't you say?
He lets us go down there and tune the cars in. If we got any questions, we ask him. We need to put on the dyno. He puts it on the dyno. You can't ask for no better.
Well, that's, customer service. But there again, it just goes back to show the guy you race with every weekend, he's your promoter. Hey, he's a racer, and he's just an all-in-all great guy. And I know that everyone that I've talked to that has been on that Team Triple X Racing Services shock program, the Bilstein Shocks, they've had success in their racing program. So right now, we're looking forward ahead right now. It is Tuesday night as tonight's show is on. Hey, we're looking forward to Saturday night, May the 20th. The Fayetteville Motor Speedway going to be back in action, and you guys are on the schedule for the street stock event. And man, I know it's just going to be another great show. And let's talk about what that 48 crew has to do to put that thing back in racing here this weekend.
We're trying all we can. I actually got it sitting on the Hammond setup plates now, checking all my alignment and my wheelbase and my caster, camber, all that good stuff. I got to get up with David and get me some tires, get my shocks back, and working on my nephew's car. It got tore up a little bit at Sumter. We're going to be there with it too, trying to get him up front with me. I want to rub doors with him too.
Well, he might not want to rub doors with you because he knows what'll happen if he scraps up that 48. I already tell him that. Tell him to call the boys of the Speedway, the boys of Victory Lane. I tell you what's going to happen. He runs up on that 48. I just going to give him a warning. But so let's talk about, you're coming into Fayetteville Motor Speedway looking for win number 3 this year on the 2023 season inside of Fayetteville Motor Speedway. You guys have also done some traveling this year. You'll hop off, and of course, Fayetteville Motor Speedway is, I guess I'm gonna put you on the spot. That's where you want to race all the time. But I know that you will go to Lakeview Speedway, and you and I have talked. Maybe you don't go to Lakeview anymore like you used to. Maybe you used to go to
Sumter, Fayetteville, and we're thinking about going to Halifax.
Okay, Sumter is where you try to go, because I know a lot of times you and I will shoot a text to each other. Hey man, what you doing this weekend? Where you going this weekend? What's going on? And Sumter Motor Speedway, Sumter Speedway. And so you've talked about going to Sumter and so you were there this past weekend. I think had a pretty good run. Let's talk about some of the experiences you've had at Sumter this year.
Yes, sir. The first night we went there, I actually run top 2 the whole time. I got in the leader on the restart, and we got hung up, and third place got by us. And I got hung up behind him. Couldn't get by him. I finished second that night. And then this past weekend, I started outside pole, and my left rear got cut down on the start. So I had to go to the rear. I made it back up to 5th, and after the race, I had an altercation with another fellow. He spun me out after the race. Ended up getting me DQ'd, him DQ'd, and my nephew had my back. He got DQ'd too.
Well, I don't want to get into a whole bunch of that because I wasn't there, but I can probably guess exactly how that went down. But let's talk about when you guys come to Fayetteville Motor Speedway, because I know from Dillon, South Carolina, I've been to Sumter Speedway, and I like that old place, man. It's kind of like a little diamond in the rough. You pull up in the parking lot, and it looks like a place that you would see somebody like filming like a country music video or something like that. But it's a really cool racetrack. But really, honestly, I'm kind of biased because I am a Motor Speedway big fan. Our track is, as far as I'm concerned, it don't get no better than what we have at Fayetteville Motor Speedway. And let's talk about when you come to Fayetteville Motor Speedway on a weekly basis. Let's talk about some of those people that help sponsor you, that help work in the shop, and those people that help that 48 be in contention to win every time you go on the racetrack.
Yes, sir. Ramey Racing Engines. He's builds a nice 602 crate motor. It ain't been through this year. He went through it last year for me, and it's been strong. I ain't had nothing done to it but change the valve springs and the oil. We got Mr. B's, heating and air. Got Dylan Oil Service, actually where I work at. I got Jerry Johnson Holler and Honks. I got AdTech Services. I got Po Boys Garage. There's been so many people that helps me with the car during the week. C-Mac, Edwards over here sometimes. My nephew's here. My daddy's here all the time. Can't leave him out. There's several people help me throughout the week. And like David, I just called him up and I have a question on a setup and he steered me in the right direction. And when we hit the track Saturday night, it should be on the rail.
Well, I know with all of those people that you just called out that, man, help you on a weekly basis, they all mean something to you and your team. But, man, to call out a name like Jerry Johnson, man, what a racing legend. When you talk about Fayetteville Motor Speedway, a guy who has had that place figured out for many, many, many years, there's probably no telling, man, how many wins that guy has on that surface at Fayetteville Motor Speedway, and all the tricks of the trade and, you know, the dialing in of a race car. I mean, he's like a mastermind when it comes. I mean, what a blessing that is to have him on your side.
Yes, sir. He's a smart man.
Oh, Jerry, you know that a guy has to be able to set up a race car if he can take a hat and bend a bill 7 different ways to make the rain run off the front of him. What do you think?
Yes, sir. He's pretty good. Like if I'm at the racetrack and I have a question, I can ask him and he can steer me in the right direction too.
Yeah, well, and I know it's been real fun, you know, this year and all the years that I've ever watched the old 98 of Jerry Johnson, then Jerry Johnson Jr., those guys. I mean, there's just such a legacy of racing there, and it kind of rolls over into, you know, the other side of the family deal with the Blackwell Motorsports.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
Little Clay picks up a win this past weekend at Rockfish Speedway to junior sprint. I mean, there was nothing any more special. Of all the interviews, not taking the time that I've interviewed you now, there was nothing more special, man, than capturing Chase's first win in a 602 late model at Fayetteville Motor Speedway. And that's just part of that whole ordeal of that Blackwell legacy of racing. But then on the flip side of that, there's the Johnsons, you know, with Jerry Johnson. And man, he is without a doubt an awesome guy. And I know you got to be super glad, super excited to have him on your side.
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, we look forward to seeing you this weekend inside the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. On the slate this weekend inside Fayetteville Motor Speedway, race fans, it's going to be the Midi 604 late models. You're also going to have the 602 late models, 602 Sport Modified, street stocks, featuring the number 48 of Michael Butler out of Dillon, South Carolina. You're also going to have the Amstel Trucking Legends, who always put on a great show, and the Carolina Outlaw Super Streets. They're going to be in the house. Their second visit to the Fayetteville Motor Speedway for 2023. And, hey, Michael Butler, we wish you the best of luck not only this weekend. We thank you for taking time to be on the show here real quick. And, man, we just wish you the best of luck throughout the whole entire remaining part of 2023.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Man, we're glad to have you on the show. And before we jump off here, we've talked about your sponsors. We've talked about the people who help you. And everyone obviously knows that you are a race car driver. What would you say if I were to ask you? I'm going to put you on the spot now. I'll put you on the spot. You're a race car driver. The one thing that you would want race fans to know about you that they don't know because they don't see you away from the racetrack, is it that you're like a cool dad and you fix your little girl like this super cool little 48 car to ride around in? I saw that on Facebook too. That was super cool. So the one thing that people that go to the racetrack every single night know that you're a racer, a hard-nosed racer at that, and you're going to go to the front if at all possible. But away from the racetrack, one thing about Michael Butler, man, that people don't know.
There ain't much people don't know. I kind of keep everybody informed on what I'm doing. I post a lot of pictures. I post a lot of videos. Me and my little girl, we come in here. Like yesterday, we came out here and worked on the car a little bit. It was Mother's Day, and we took the wife out to eat. And we came out and worked on the car a little bit.
Well, I will give you an opportunity to do this publicly all over social media, all over everything. If you want to do a special 2 day after Mother's Day to your wife, man, go ahead.
Happy Mother's Day to my wife, Ashley. I love you.
Oh, no. Your wife's name's Ashley, too?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. You're a winner. You're a winner from the start. I'm a winner. My wife's name's Ashley. Your wife's name is Ashley. Zach Blackwell's wife's name is Ashley. Daniel Parker's wife's name is Ashley. I mean, it's an Ashley game, man. Ashley all the way. That's the way it is, because she is my Ashley is the backbone of this podcast and all the promotional stuff you see at Fayetteville Motor Speedway. She is, without a doubt, the backbone of what we do. So guys who marry girls named Ashley are pretty cool in my book.
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, listen, man, we appreciate you being on the show. Again, we wish you the best of luck this weekend inside the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. Hey, fans, this weekend, Saturday, May the 20th, the Carolina Bull Ring, the place to be, the greatest place to watch the race, the Fayetteville Motor Speedway this weekend, 604 Mid-East late models in the house, the 602 late models, 602 sport modifieds. We're going to have the street stocks, the Amsoil Trucking Legends, and we're also going to have the Carolina Outlaw Super Streets. Make sure that you make plans right now to be at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway this weekend. As we close out tonight's show, we're going to hear from Atwell Exterior Services out of Greenville, North Carolina. Trevor Atwell, Team 18, Team Atwell 18 Racing. These guys do a wonderful job roofing, all kinds of different services that they offer, sponsor a lot of race cars, and they're just big, huge fans of dirt track racing, and we're super proud to have them as a part of our team. Be sure to go to Voice of Victory Lane podcast page on Facebook. Give us a like, give us a share. And on YouTube, you can subscribe to our page and watch all of our shows. And again, tonight, special guest, the driver of the number 48 out of Dillon, South Carolina. It is Michael Butler. He'll be at Fayetteville this weekend. Come see all the racing action, and we look forward to seeing you all there. And as we close every one of our shows, be on the lookout. We could be coming to a racetrack near you, and you could be who we're talking about next on our show. Thanks again for watching. Everyone have a great night. And listen, we'll see you this weekend inside the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. But if not, hey, get out somewhere, somehow, some way, and support a local dirt racetrack. Hey, thanks for watching. Good night, everybody. And hey, thanks for watching.
Atwell Exterior Services and Team Atwell ride with a winner. Congratulations to Trevor Atwell and the team at Atwell Exterior Services in Greenville, North Carolina. Atwell is the top-rated roofing and exterior renovations company in racing country, and Team Atwell has sponsored so many great racing teams for years. Ride with a winner on your roof or on the track. Atwell Exterior Services. Atwell Exterior Services and Team Atwell Racing. Ride with a winner.